Okay, hello, welcome back to my channel. Wow, the lighting is not... Okay, I think we're just gonna have to deal with the weird shadows, so I'm sorry about that. What we're doing here in the greenhouse is I'm documenting all of my peony blooms on Polaroid. And so I'm just gonna take a photo. Look at this one. That is like, I am documenting all of my peonies on Polaroid. And then we're gonna go over to the peony patch and talk a little bit about them. I've been taking these shots kind of as they've been blooming. So I can't decide. I had black border film in my camera, and then I also started taking them. I had a roll. I didn't have any more of this kind on hand. So then I had just started taking them on the other kind of film that I had with a black background, which I thought looked really nice because the flowers popped really well. I like how they both turned out. The idea was just to document my peonies on Polaroid film as, well, I guess this is Fujifilm actually. This is an Instax camera. This is the film I'm using. I ordered another pack. You only get 10 shots, so I was trying to do it kind of sparingly. And yeah, I've just been trying to document my peonies on these little Instax instant film photos, and then I'm gonna write the name of each of them. And I just thought it would be like a cute little way to document my flowers. And yeah, I just really liked the idea creatively to just document them this way. But that's what we're gonna do here in the greenhouse. First, let's take these photos before the sun sets, and then we will go over to the peony patch. Out like what the name of each of these are, and we're gonna label them and talk a little bit about my peony journey. Yeah, let's do that. Here we are in the peony patch, and I just wanted to share a little bit of history about the peonies, kind of the stage that they're in now, because as you can see, they're very like wilted, they're losing their petals, and the season is coming to an end. Today is June 12th, so they've had pretty much all of their blooms. I do have some late bloomers, and I also just want to preface that I am not by any means a peony expert. I have just learned things through trial and error, and I'm continuing to learn through trial and error. So something that I'm experimenting with this year is I'm actually going to leave a lot of these flower heads on the plant instead of deadheading. And typically, like, you would cut these in their marshmallow stage, which is basically just when you kind of like squeeze the bud, and if it's kind of like the texture or the same like resistance that a marshmallow would give, that's when you know it's time to go ahead and cut it for cut flowers, or I think a little earlier if you're planning on storing them in like a cold storage type situation, if you're somebody who sells blooms. I've never gotten into selling peonies or selling stems, but maybe in the future that's something I could do, because this year I did have over 200 blooms, and I could easily see selling these at some sort of local farmer's market or something, just as like a fun little side hobby, just to try, and also just to share them. Not like trying to sell them for a huge profit or anything, but it would be kind of fun. But yeah, like I was saying, I'm letting a bunch of these just kind of go into develop seed pods, and in order to do that you need to leave the flower on the plant. So that's what I'm trying out this year, and I'm going to plant them and I'll bring you along and we will kind of do this experiment together. I planted these really dense in this little patch here, and I started with about, I want to say about 30 bare root plants, which means I just got them and they weren't a plant yet. I bought them at Home Depot in one of those like seasonal packs that they sell. So I had started with, I believe it came with like 3 different types of peonies. I couldn't tell you what each of these types of peonies are. So that's kind of what I was trying to do with the Polaroids and looking up like the names of them so that I can tag them and know exactly which plant is which. Now, when I've been cutting them for cut flowers this season, I've been adding these little tags down here, and the plants that I knew the names of, I would write it on the tag and like put it around the stem that's closest to the root. But on the plants that I didn't know the name of, I just wrote like hot pink, light pink, white with yellow center, just so that I could get the plants kind of organized and know what is where when I go to split these. And that's a whole nother thing that I'm going to document this fall, because that's part of the process of growing peonies. They'll actually, similar to dahlias, if you've ever grown a dahlia, you can actually split the bare root, and then from one plant you'll have multiple plants. So that was kind of my goal when starting out, was that I would plant these, and in the fall at some point I would go ahead and split them so that I could grow my collection and have just a big abundance and variety of peonies every spring. Since it is something that just like brings me a ton of joy and I really look forward to. So of course I just want to continue to grow them and split them, and also to share with friends. So anyways, that's kind of where I'm at in the season. I am letting a bunch of these go to seed. So it's not going to be like a super beautiful, so it's not going to look very pretty this summer, because you actually have to leave the seed heads to develop until the fall. Oh, here comes Finley. Here. Do you just need attention? You gonna lay down in my lap while I finish this video? You can lay down. Okay, he just wants to hang out. What I was saying was, this fall, that'll be a whole nother video and process that I record and share, because I will be digging all of these up and splitting them. And I think we're going to prepare a spot over in this other area. So we actually have this one in the front yard. Jordan just brought it to me, and I don't know the name of it. So I'm gonna have to go put a tag on it that just says light pink, full peony. And I'm gonna look this up. I know people out there who might be watching this who are experts are gonna be like, that's this peony, duh. Like, they're gonna know right away. And that's how I wanna be. I wanna be able to name exactly what peony is what in my garden, and just be a little bit more knowledgeable on them, instead of just being like, oh, it's a pretty flower. So that's what we're learning together. It's a process. Like, no one is gonna know every single thing about gardening overnight. I've been gardening since 2017, like kind of more seriously, and I still learn something new every season. Like, you just learn as you go, and that's kind of what's fun about it. So I'm just realizing I've had these peonies for 8 years. How was 2017 8 years ago? That doesn't feel right. Anyways, I've been growing these peonies for 8 years, and so of course this is their best season. They've had so much time to grow. I will say that I haven't had the peonies in this location the entire time. So I planted these at our house in Burien, and then in 2021 when we moved here, I dug them all up and I brought them here with me. So they've been moved once before. And they're totally fine to be moved as long as you do it in the right season. You're not going to want to do it on the hottest day in the middle of summer. Like, there's some like seasonality to when you're supposed to move them. So I think fall and spring are kind of the times that you can dig these up and move them without really hurting them. Also, I'll say I used to be really concerned about having them in the winter, and they've done great. So they've been through several winters out here, and I just cover them in the winter with some hay, and we use the bunny poop from our 2 bunnies as like a fertilizer, and put those here, which I think also helps them grow really well. What's the other thing I wanted to mention? Things that I've learned. Usually when you plant peonies from bare root, you don't get blooms in like the first 1 to 2 years, and you're not supposed to cut the flowers if you do get bloom. After the blooming season is over, you kind of just leave them alone for the rest of the summer. So after the flowering season, mid-June, they put all of their energy into growth and into the root and the tuber. So that's kind of the main focus for the rest of the season. And you kind of just let them be, leave them alone, and let them do their thing. Then in the fall, if you have an established plant that you've had for 3 or 4 years, you can dig up that tuber. And if it has more than like 4 to 5 eyes, you can actually split it and then have 2 plants, which is what we are going to do this fall. So I can't wait to bring you along on that journey. Anyways, that is my video. I'm sorry if it was a little chaotic and all over the place. Like I said, every season I learn something new, and I'm not an expert, so just sharing my experience. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this one. Let's talk about the roses in the next video. I think that'd be really fun, especially since summer is like rose season. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. I will see you in the next one. Bye.